So day 3 of the Amazon driver training. This is, and how day 3 goes is probably the most, is very dependent on your part of the country, what your DSP does. It seems like each location is a little bit different. You could be in Ohio or Texas, and they could be like, well, you have to do a whole day on day 3 where you wait around until your name is called to do a road test. And the road test is you have to actually go and back up in like a, let me show you. Like, you have to do, here's a, cone, like you have to do something like that, right? But at my DSP in North Carolina, things are a lot differently, and I think they ran a lot more efficiently. What happened was, on day 2, the trainer gave me a time to come in on day 3 to do the road test, and my time was 1 o'clock. And your time could vary. It could be 9 o'clock in the morning, or it could be 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Or you could have, DSP where you're expected to show up at 9 and wait till your name's called, and then whatever time you get out of there, you get out of there, kind of thing. So get there at 1, sign some paperwork, basically just confirm your driver's license, your social security, and you put your signature on there, says, I verify this is a 10-mile road test, that sort of thing. So the road test, again, some DSPs will actually just have you on a closed course. The Amazon that I'm working for, they have you on a actual public roads. It's just a, it's a, you turn out of the parking lot, turn right, make sure you don't hit the curb when you're turning out. Use your blinker. Make sure the speed limit's 40. You need to do 40, not 35. If the speed limit's 55, you need to do 55, not 50. You have to get up to at least the posted speed limit. Of course, also there's changing lanes. You'll be on a dual highway for a little while, and also looking at the traffic lights. Something called a stale green, which means if you're driving along, you see a green light that's been green for a while, you need to be prepared in case it's going to change. And then there's also some windy roads where you have to go through some curves and everything. If there's roads, one road, 2 roads, right? Very similar characteristics. One road might be 35 miles an hour. Another road might be 45 miles an hour. And the 45 might actually have sharper curves than the 35. So you really got to watch that as well. They'll also be looking at your lane discipline. Can you stay centered in the lane? If you can't, it's automatic fail. If you hit any curves, it's automatic fail as well. Okay, so I went through the road test, and honestly, the best thing I could tell you, if you're the kind of person like me who drives smaller cars, and all of a sudden you're into this bigger van, best thing I tell you is, and I give credit to my trainer on this one, he says, look, at the end of the day, it's just driving, it's the same skills. If you can drive a compact car, you can drive a bigger van, okay? So we pull back into, like 10, 15 minutes later, pull back into the Amazon building parking lot, right? And I'm thinking, oh, test is over. I passed in flying colors. Wrong. Nope. My trainer goes, you're supposed to back in the parking space. I'm like, oh boy. So what happens is we have to do, I don't know if you can see that or not, see that maneuver there, right? You have to not only back up into the parking space, but you have to actually do it diagonally. And honestly, it took me 3 or 4 times to do it. But I finally did it. I was glad my trainer was very patient with me and everything. And the thing they're looking for on the backing up is make sure you can do it in one move. Make sure you can do it in a quick manner. They're not as concerned with making sure you're perfectly centered in the space. They're more about making sure you get from point A to point B into the space as quickly as possible, because if you think about it, there may be some situations you might be in a busy apartment complex, right? And the only solution is you're gonna have to back into a parking space, and there might be a lot of traffic, a lot of impatient people honking their horns and everything. Just you might only have 2 or 3 seconds to get in the space. And so even though on day 1 and day 2 of training they say that you're strongly discouraged from backing up, but again, in any kind of driver's test you take with Amazon, there's going to be backing up involved. And I guess they're just looking for making sure you can, if you have to, because there might be an opportunity, again, busy apartment complex, or if you're in a rural area, you may not be able to do a 3-point turn, or you might have room to be able, you might be on a driveway or somewhere, some narrow area where you have to negotiate. But again, that's you might have a situation like that. So just be ready for some kind of backing up, and not just backing up straight back. You might have to back up diagonally, so just be prepared for that. So it took me like 3 or 4 times, and actually after the 3rd attempt, my trainer went to my manager and said, my manager asked me, said, "Hey, are you comfortable with doing this job?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am. I've had my driver's license for 20 years. I'm very experienced. Yeah, I might be a little bit more cautious with backing up, but I'm safe about it." But I came out the 4th time. I did it in one swoop, and so that was that. After your driver's test, assuming you pass, there's one point where I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to keep looking for a job," because I was like, "Oh man, I did the road test perfectly, but the backing up is just But assuming you pass the road test, you'll go in, you'll meet with your manager. You'll do some final paperwork. They'll go over what size pants and shirt and all the uniform specifications, and they'll also give you a little brochure about the procedures. In other words, you come in at this time, and you're supposed to clock in here, and then you go out to that location to meet up with the group, and then at the end of the day, you come back to that location and you call your dispatcher, and all the little policies, procedure manual for that. It was only like 2 or 3 pages, pretty short, to the point. So that was day 3 and that was kind of the last day of you have 2 days of classroom training, and at the end of day 1 and day 2, you take an exam. It's on a little tablet, and it's open notes. The exams are, so make sure you take copious amount of notes. You can use your notes on the first 2 days of exam. Then day 3 is just the road test. And again, if you pass, you get to meet with the managers. If you fail, then they'll they'll ask, do you want to come back and retake and all that stuff, and set up a date for another time from there. All right, well, I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.